place, Sam Fisher. How are you doing, folks? So we're going to have a bit of a different one today. Going to look at some paperwork. Everybody's favourite pastime. I think this will be interesting. By now, most of you should know about lockstep. If you don't know what lockstep is, this is lockstep. Okay, you got that? Good. Well, that was paper written by the Rockefeller Foundation back in 2010. Eerie in its predictions of the future, really, there, isn't it? Especially the bits about China. Their authoritarian model is probably the best one for countries to stick to, so that's what they do. Get uprisings and get people pissed off with the authoritarian regime and instilling more and more powers upon themselves. It's not a good picture, it's not a pretty picture. Worries some people, that. I'm not surprised. Like I said, that was written in 2010. But it's not as far as how it all goes, really. 1974, Henry Kissenger wrote a paper, which is basically the basic premise of it is there's too many people in the world. This was back in 1974, and we need to get rid of them, basically. And that's this paper here. So yeah, that's Kissenger. This was back in 1974. Of course, we can go further and further back with Gates as well. His parents started being on the board of Planned Parenthood and blah 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 blah. But I think that's been done today. What I will, I think, move on to is what's going on after we get all that. I need to be planning all this out, because this has been a meticulous plan for a long time, and as you can tell, we started with this idea way back in 1974 that there's too many people in the world and we need to get rid of them somehow. Kissenger was going for starvation, and it still seems like that plan's in effect. America's on the brink. Sorry for you people in the US, I really am. But we're not faring much better. If you think we are, fucking hell, you need to get your head into gear. We're not faring much better either. Supply lines are over, you know what I mean? They were strict for the lockdown, and that was on purpose. Same with the monetary system and everything else. They needed to basically devalue everything and get those supply lines broken, so then it'd take us too long to recover and then people will starve. Starvation is an efficient killer, better than the pandemic, really, but all they needed was a fake one. Someone pointed out that it's amazing how all the protesters suddenly stopped all at once, and didn't they? Yeah, it is. It's very well timed. Everyone was protesting everywhere at one point, weren't they? Now we're trying again. The only thing is at the minute that no one's really got the appetite for it at the moment because of all this pandemic going on. Shocking. Never thought of that, yeah. But is that at the moment every government has stretched their powers to the absolute limit of authoritarianism. They really have. Very quickly, and some would say a little bit too quickly. Everyone knows what's been happening in Wuhan in China with all the dragging people out of the homes and everything else. Well, Jim Ryan, the nice little bloke at WHO, said this.
Is that these society-wide measures are difficult. They are not easy, and they are hurting people. But the alternative is even worse. And countries, if they're going to be able to move away from this approach of having to lock down and shut down, if we're going to move away from that approach as a means of suppressing the virus, we have got to put in place the public health surveillance, the isolation, the quarantine, the case finding, the detection. We have got to be able to show that we can go after the virus, because lockdowns alone will not work. But unfortunately, in some situations right now, they're the only measure that governments can actually take to slow down this virus. So what we're likely to see, if you imagine the lockdowns and the stringent measures that were put in place are now in place for between 2 and 3 weeks in Italy at different levels in different places, we should start to see a stabilisation, because the cases we see today really reflect exposures 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's good, isn't it? Oh shit. Yeah, they're not fucking about, mate. Right? Well, what do I mean by that? Oh, did you hear Ventura County's, was it mayor, I think? The mayor of Ventura County? When he said this?
Today, and it's a pilot program which will certainly grow into something larger and larger, and that is a community contact tracing program. We've done contact tracing all along. That a contact is a person who's been exposed to someone that we document to have the COVID infection. when we find someone who has a COVID infection, those people are immediately isolated. But we also work with them to figure out who their contacts were. Luckily, because you have been doing such a great job of cooperating and staying indoors, staying isolated, it used to be there were 10 contacts, at least, for every patient that we would find. Now, it looks like there are probably only 2 or 3 or 4 contacts, not surprisingly, because most people have been staying away from others. And that's good news. But the purpose of this program is to bring on people. We're going to start with 10 people. We may bring on up to 50 or even more as the program grows and as we see the needs for it. As we do more testing, we will find more and more people who have COVID-19. And again, we'll isolate every one of them, and we will find every one of their contacts, and we will make sure that they stay quarantined, and we'll check in with them every day. In other words, what this program means is that we're going to do a more complete job, and we're going to do a more meticulous job of making it less and less possible for others in the county to run into someone with COVID-19 infection. It's not just our county that's bringing more people on. There are going to be thousands of people hired who will be these contact investigators throughout the state. And this is occurring in many, many other states as well, perhaps all of the states in our country. We will be giving intensive training to these people, training not only for identifying and finding contacts, but also in terms of how to be sensitive about doing it. We also realize that as we find more contacts, some of the people we find are going to have trouble being isolated. For instance, if they live in a home where there's only one bathroom and there are 3 or 4 other people living there, and those people don't have COVID infection, we're not going to be able to keep the person in that home. Every person who we're isolating, for instance, needs to have their own bathroom. And so we'll be moving people like this into other kinds of housing that we have available. They'll also have other needs, perhaps, food, whatever it's going to be. The county will be there to back them up and to support them.
You say it, but you're never happy here. Yeah, and then this happened in Italy yesterday.
And he falls. And then he's going in again. Wow. So it appears that they're sedating people that are speaking out. This is really nuts. It's not the clearest footage, right? But, I mean, this is obviously from several stories up and quite far away, but nonetheless, and you see a bunch of people, bystanders here. Hopefully somebody else picked up the video as well. I've been searching to see. This is the earliest one I could find of this video. But this is... It's crazy to see this stuff because, you know, when you see somebody that has the courage, that puts their life on the line to speak out against this and try to wake people up, and then look what happens to them. And the fact that they have some sort of medical staff that are with the police means that this couldn't be the first time, or is unlikely that it's the first time that they've used this tactic to shut people down. Now, if you know, in Italy's been one of the major epicenters of this thing. It's unnatural how only certain countries, you know, Belgium, Italy, Spain, and then United States and Canada are the only epicenters of this whole thing, you know, with some of the ones in Asia that went really quickly. But we've talked a lot about Italy, and we've talked a lot about how awful it's been for people in Italy, and how angry people are. We've shown a lot of people standing up to this in Italy. And this is, I hope people know who this guy is, and I hope they can ascertain his safety, make sure he's okay and he hasn't been lobotomized or anything. But we'll watch it again all together in real time. I won't pause it this time, and then, yeah.
E con ne stava in capo a ridere, ne ciorloni a tutti. Non ce n'è pandemia, gente. Aggrovigliate, prendevate queste mascherine. E te venne a Roma a parlare la lingua con chi che pensate. No, che dicono chi che non pensano. Chi che pensano sono dietro presi. Aggrovigliatevi!
And he's talking to the people there that are watching. Now you see the white coats come over, and it looks like they get him, inject him in the butt or something like that there, and then he starts to wobble, and they take him down, and then he comes in, and it seems like he gives another injection here.
The thing is though, I love this. I don't think anyone's really noticed involved to read the Corona Act. I did the other day. It's going to see army because of this. Now bear in mind, that bill, that Corona Act, came to effect the day it was put into Parliament. In fact, it came to effect at 1:30 that afternoon, and they didn't even put it through Parliament until 2:30. Didn't agree upon it until about 3-4 o'clock. I hope you read those words very carefully, because you've always had the powers to do this. You just never told anybody, or rather, hope nobody would notice. So I'd come in your homes, and basically anyone that they deem ill, sick, or it then becomes a danger to the public. And they can test you there and then or not. The thing is, those tests will test positive no matter what you do, and I think they're rigged that way. The Tanzanian president had the good foresight to look at them and go, something dodgy there. So I tested a goat and a pawpaw fruit and engine oil. They all tested positive. This is the next step. Lockstep, full effect. Oh. Let's try and stop them there.